Hey guys, I've got another gameplay commentary here today. This one's with the NS15. This one was also taken from stream, so it's going to have some voiceovers from the recursion tracker, and it's going to have me talking. I was actually having a very active chat that day, and I was really conversing with chat a lot, so rather than having the discussion be very confusing, I'm going to be trying to mute sections where I was talking to chat. So just so you're aware of what those are. Starting off at the crown, I was pushing up towards the point, not actually expecting there to be a whole lot of people here. Turns out there's a ton of red people, and they're all coming down the hill at me. So I do what I can. I try to take one fight at a time, position backwards to reload, and as necessary to try to not be overrun, because I really don't know how many there are here. We hold out for a little while and we take a handful of them with me, but then we get hit by an infiltrator that's just off of screen, so there's really no defense against that. Over at Indar Kamare, I'm inching out here trying to find a single fight on an angle. I find a guy in the box and I try to take an ego duel where really it's not a favorable fight, but I think I can hit it, I don't hit it, and then I have to try again. Already tilted. I try to take these shots on the guys on the roof, which to be fair, I think on a good day I would hit, but I don't hit them, so I have to go in and deal with it. I only find the one guy, even though I saw two, and as I'm trying to take out their spawn beacon, one of them comes back and manages to catch me off guard. By the time I respawn, the point is no longer contested, so we head off to Ikanam Garrison, and we head all the way through the tunnels looking for people, only to find them all coming over the bridge at once. Still tilted on my respawn, I come back over and they're already pushing into the building, so I try to fight them from the second floor using the height advantage. I whip a bunch of shots, I jump down, I continue to whip a bunch of shots. My recursion tells me that I've whipped so many shots I actually have a affinity or whatever those unlocks are for assists, and we keep fighting as best we can. I'm on fire. In none of the good ways.
Sidekick.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A billion assists. As our side of the bridge clears up, I see my team gearing up to push across, but running into opposition. So, I throw a few nades across just to kind of loosen it up and see what I can find, and I wind up accidentally picking off a max. I don't know if I stuck it or if it just landed nearby, and honestly I don't really care, I'm just glad I got one randomly. We take those. We take those.
Let's fly.
As we cross the bridge, I'm trying to be up front so that I can get kills, but I don't want to be in the front completely because then I'll be the first person to get shot, and this Sunderer, despite being pushed, isn't undefended. There's a bunch of people on it. So I kind of let people filter in front of me while I use as much cover as I can, and I just try to pick up all the kills possible. Normally I have a trouble with overextending and Shift W disease, but in situations like this, it's very clear that I did not properly learn how to navigate the hills and mountains in Skyrim, and two, that if I try to push and Shift W that, I'm just going to get shot by 73 people at once. Were I able to navigate that hill a little better, I might not have gotten stuck there, but we still got a good return and a decent amount of damage there. But it looks like, as we get back, they've pushed back across the bridge and we have to refight for this building. Because the last time I saw, we didn't have control of the first floor really, I'm just going to stay on the second floor, dance around, and look for opportunities to get picks where I can. The idea is to peek an angle at an odd timing and not hold it, and be moving around. If you're not holding the angle, then they're not already in their field of view when they walk in, and you wind up peeking out into them and they have to react to you. And if you're rotating around, not only are you looking at multiple different angles to potentially find more picks, but you're also clearing the area around you, which is kind of making you safer at the same time. That's not necessarily what's happening here, because in this instance I have a large friendly population helping with the defense, because it's about even. So there's a lot of angles that are being covered just organically by people running around. But generally speaking, that's the idea behind rotating aggressively, even if you're alone or with others.
He walked with death.
I shouldn't be alive right now. Off respawn, I make the push back to the front line with the intention of basically running the same strategy. Just hold the area, kind of rotate around, try to find picks where I can, and just trade out well if I get caught. When I get back, there's not a push currently happening, and there's not really anything on any of the angles, but there is some real bad weather. So after a few rotations of looking around, I wind up finding somebody as I peek off the balcony, and completely planned, I follow him off to fight on the side angle. I definitely didn't just get baited by wanting to fight finally. And no sooner do I get here than I see people moving along what would essentially be a flank that I have no cover for, and if I wanted to get out safely, I would have to rotate the entire way back around. I'm in no way going to do that, so I decided to take the fight.
We walk with death.
With the hillside clear and that gunner taken out, I try to push up and see if I can't find a slightly better angle, and a shield goes down. I don't know how I feel about this shield. I don't like this shield. But I try to play wide so that there's less eyes on me, and I make the best of the situation. It's also been scientifically proven that TR Lightning's vision is based on movement, so if I just stay right here, I should be fine.
No mercy.
After getting hit from the flank there, I respawn right into a drop, and can only take a few with me.
Die, scum!
The situation rapidly deteriorates, and it quickly becomes a spawn camp situation, while simultaneously being one of the only actual active fights on the continent, just because all the other fights were on the other side. That being said, I try to make the best of it, and I actually wind up finding a fair bit of success, and don't actually ask me to explain how this worked, because by all intents and purposes, it really shouldn't have on paper. I'm essentially trying to be as safe as I can against the aircraft, and I wind up peeking really tight here, air quotes tight, because while I only take like a 1 and 2 fight here, like I'm actually still, I think, overextended. I feel like I should have been more punished for that. Like it worked out, but I think ideally I should have been closer to the wall there on a tighter angle. But hey, it worked. I can't really question it.
Let me take a look.
Let's fly!
You are better than this. Show them.
Frustrated by the fight and the fact that this is one of the only active fights and it's still a spawn camp, I try to find some alternative angles and just wind up finding more people looking at a spawn. I try to get out of here at my earliest opportunity, which unfortunately isn't until the point ends, but when it does, a fight breaks out at Raven's Landing, and it's one of my favorite places to fight at, so I head over as fast as I can. Despite the overall low population on both sides here, I'm finding some really aggressive positioning by blue, and I really shouldn't run out this far onto the balcony, and I immediately die for it.
Watcher 6, infiltrator in the area.
But easy come, easy go, and the fight soon disperses and we are forced to head off somewhere else. One of my favorite fights to take is a slight underpop on my faction side, because those fights are oftentimes still fightable and there's a lot more things to shoot at. Almost immediately after leaving spawn, we see TR running up the ramp and the stairs trying to get onto point, and I immediately try to clear them out from here before pushing up. I'm trying to figure out where their sunder is and where they're spawning from, where I can take up a good spot at, but I wind up fighting more people and just trying to fight from where I'm at. Coming out of spawn after overpeaking, I see a max on the close staircase, and I just happen to be having one of my favorite things to run, which is an anti-vehicle nade vandal here. They're very good against maxes, so I just, to whom it may concern, mail a few of them out. And I don't find the max, but I get an engineer, and I shoot the max in the head enough times to make him fall back. Being diagnosed with terminal shift W disease, I assume the max is alone, considering I killed an engineer, so I push up trying to look to finish him off, and I find a little more than I bargained for. Even though I'm not making much ground, this is the kind of fighting I enjoy. So coming out of spawn, I go right back, and it seems they've set up an umbrella on the corner there, which is a little harder to deal with. I don't expect I'm going to get much done if I spend the time rocketing that umbrella a bunch of times to get it down myself, and I don't really expect that there'll be anybody to actually follow up if I were to push up afterwards. So instead, I just push to the left bridge and try to fight from there and see if I can find anything. But for the crime of using my brain in 2023, as I push up, I immediately am punished by walking into a wall of maxes. Maxes will die to sustain small arms fire, especially if you hit headshots, and you can get more than one person shooting at something. And from this range, I don't think they're going to be able to hit me, so I feel confident enough to take a tight angle and just put some damage into them. But because they retreated to that corner, I try to nade that corner from behind the box. Again, anti-vehicle nades are very good against maxes. And when it doesn't actually hit anything, I feel a little more confident trying to push up. Ow, ow, ow. I make it to the corner with a little bit of difficulty, but sure enough, there are no maxes here, so I'm able to push into the building.
Death is the servant of the righteous.
Because they were coming up the stairs on the right, I expect a surge of purple in the building to cause them to rotate in from this doorway, and I try to come over here to hold it, but nobody really shows up. So after trying to hold this for a little bit, I decide to do what I do best and run at the largest concentrations of red dots that I can find on my minimap.
Fear me.
With that strategy never failing me, I wind up running up behind a few of them as they're trying to re-establish the push, and I chase them as we push them off the point. I see a guy running up the hill, and with nothing else to do, I decide we're going to chase him. After we wind up getting our guy, we turn around and go to redeploy, but I actually see that there's a sunder setting up, and there is actually another push coming.
Die, scum!
Then I wind up taking out a few people here before I get taken out by a harasser with absolutely no counterplay or anything I could have done about it. There's no way I could have known and done a single thing about this to save myself from dying, and it's absolutely overpowered. As I mauled and tear my hair out about how overpowered vehicles are, I see another low population fight, and even though it seems like it's going to be a spawn camp, exactly like what you would expect from those populations, I still see what I can do because there's nothing else going on.
Die, scum! Purge the enemy! Let's fly!
There's a lot more of them actually prepared for me than I thought, so I just decided to take out this anti-infantry weapon while I wait for more purple to show up.
Enemy light assault in the area. Spotted a hostile medic.
Rather than going in the same door I pushed the first time, I opt to wrap around the building and try to get a flank on them. When I get back, we actually have taken the building back, and though they're fighting us through the window and the door, there seems to be pretty low pressure, so I actually try to push a little more aggressively.
Death to the enemy!
When I push out here and look for more of them, it becomes very obvious that their beacon is nearby and they're dropping onto the roof, so I try to position to punish that a bit more.
Commendable. A truly stalwart defense.
As I push out to go for my flanking position, I turn around to cover myself, and I'm very tempted to ape and shoot the first guy I see, but I'm able to contain myself and actually focus on the guys who are going to be shooting at me. It pays off, and I'm able to make it to my tree. And that brings us to 73 kills in 29 minutes. If you guys like these videos, or if you don't, please be sure to let me know what I can change about them to make them better. I'm trying to highlight more missed opportunities and bad plays as well as things that I'm thinking about and doing. Let me know if the balance of that is right, what you like hearing more, if you would like specific videos for both, or what's up with that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found it interesting and or useful, and I'll see you guys next time.